brisk Monday morning, December 30th. And it's 43 degrees outside. President Carter's passed away, and a vending machine in Japan was giving out cash instead of sodas. So let's talk about some stuff. Let's do our poll for today. Is karma real? If I can spell correctly. There we go. Good morning to somebody. Johnny's on here. Man, you're Johnny on the spot, Johnny. You got on here quick. I got another guy who's gets on here. Used to get on here pretty fast, but he's having some family stuff going on, so he can't be on here. Named Leo. Leo would always be on here first thing in the morning. As soon as I got on, it was almost kind of creepy. But that's okay. We got the flag at half staff today. President Carter passed away yesterday at 100 years old. So that's going on. What else was there? A cat got elected mayor in Alaska. And there's a story of a vending machine in Japan that was spitting out money instead of sodas. It's like they won the lottery. You go to get a drink and then it's spitting out cash. So that's the Monday so far going on. And I was using, like I said, I've been using Google Gemini to ask questions and things. And it would tell me that Jimmy Carter passed away. But when I asked more information about Jimmy Carter, it said it can't answer political questions. Like, the guy's dead. I wanted to know what he was remembered for the most. Oh, but he was pretty active until a few years ago. Hey, Clark. He was in hospice for the last year and finally passed away. Ah, man. If I get that old and I'm that decrepit, just go ahead and let me just let me go. Don't need to keep me plugged up to a wall or something like that. I remember he was very giving. Yeah, I hear about that too. He got a Nobel Peace Prize in 2002. But he was so old and frail. I mean, jeez. I don't know. I don't want to be that old and frail. Just let me go. Let me go. I remember that right before the election this year, they had him out on his little stretcher hospital bed thing, and he was just so, he didn't look like he was even, evidently he told his family he wanted to vote this year, and he did, but I mean, they had to wheel him in on the bed and everything else. It was like they had to go an extra mile. Eloise, good morning. We're just talking in general. Mentioned about President Carter passing away and a couple other little weird things going on in the world. And no particular topic in per se, just kind of chatting, over a cup of coffee. That's what we do on the Monday through Friday. I mean, Clark Kent, how ironic is that? What was the guy who played Superman ended up paralyzed and had a tube he had to breathe through to get moved around? I need some Jimmy Carter wisdom and humility. I'm sorry, I didn't brush up on my Jimmy Carter facts. I mean, yeah, it's okay to be old. I don't want to be that old. And different is okay. I've never said it. I'm not sure what you're getting at there, Clark, but I wasn't judging him. I was more judging myself. I don't want to be old and have to be wheeled around on a cart and done all that kind of stuff. So, just let me go. Well, we got a couple people answering the karma thing. 75% say yes, and 25% said who's asking. I think we live too long. That's why. I think people live too long. We were never. I don't believe we were ever meant to live this long. If you look back in history, people lived to be 30 or 40. They thought they were super old. Hey, Justice, how's it going? Yeah, I mean, if you want more Jimmy Carter facts, I apologize. I didn't brush up on my Jimmy Carter history this morning. I don't have that for you, but yeah, you got Google. You can look that up. I've said that before plenty of times in the other streams that I've done that, people didn't live to be 30 or 40, then they were considered ancient if you lived to be 40 years old, and anybody lived beyond that, they were just, they were treated with much respect and everything. But there's a lot of things that go into play with that. I mean, you think about it, your body starts falling apart when you're around 40, and without modern medicine and healthcare and things like that, and hygiene and stuff, your teeth would be falling out. You wouldn't be able to fight off diseases as well, and all this other stuff. So, and then there's a whole thing about marriage too, till death do you part. And then you got married, you only married for like 20 years, and then you would die, so it wasn't that big of a deal. So now you get married if you want to do a death to you part. It's going to be for let's see here. Yeah, you're only going to be married for like 20 years. Now you do it for death to you part. You're going to be married for 70 years. Kind of, kind of ridiculous in my opinion. But anyway, I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm mostly I judge myself more than I judge anybody else. But that story about the vending machine in Japan, evidently people were going to this machine, putting in their money to get a soda out of it, and they started spitting cash back out. That reminds me of us, I said something about karma as the question because I remember having this discussion with somebody. I've had discussion plenty of times, but this one particular time, a fellow soldier and I were down at Fort Shelby, or Camp Shelby. I can't even think to call it right. Camp Shelby down in southern Mississippi. Um, we were talking about karma and doing the right thing and owning up to whatever we did, things like that. And as we were talking, we went to a vending machine in front of the store and got a Coke out. So I put $1 in, and 2 Cokes came out. And we were having this discussion about doing the right thing and karma and stuff. And the guy I can't remember the guy's name, but he looked right at me right then and was like, all right, this was a test, So I was like, well, I didn't pay for 2 Cokes. I'm going to take one of them back inside the store. And my day's going okay so far. So he's like, you're not going to do it. I was like, yeah, I am. I mean, I'm for real. I'm taking it back in. So I brought the 2 Cokes, and they're bottle Cokes. And there was a line at the cashier, and I'm standing there for a second, waiting for her to ring somebody up. And then she looks at me and says, can I help you, sir? I said, yes. I told her a story. I went in the vending machine, I put $1 in, I punched the button, and 2 Cokes came out. I only paid for 1. I want to give one of these back to the store because I didn't pay for it, and I don't want it. And she was just dumbfounded. She didn't know what to think. She just kept looking at me going, really? It's just a Coke. I was like, yeah, but I didn't pay for it. I don't want to take it because I didn't pay for it. It's not mine. It belongs to the store. Here, take it back. And I set it on the counter. She's like, you're kidding me, right? She just kept arguing with me. She wouldn't take the Coca-Cola back. And finally, she was like, okay. And people online were everybody was just looking at me like I'm from outer space or something like that. And I was just like, right, see you later. And I walked out. And the friend I was with, he was like, you couldn't believe all those looks you were getting. Everybody was looking at you so weird and staring at you. I was like, it's just unheard of. I've done that with other things too. Shopping with the kids, and they grab something and they didn't pay for. And I was like, we're going back in the store and we're going to pay for this. We're going to return it, make them go back in there and because it's the right thing to do. You don't need to be stealing stuff. Accidents happen. If especially with self checkout, if you miss an item and then you realize when you get to your car, do you go back in and pay for it? That type of thing, you know. And I have gone back in and said I didn't pay for this, and then cash they're just looking at me crazy. I was like, I need to ring this up. I didn't pay for this, you know. So, and it's normally small things. It's not anything big. It's not like I accidentally walked out with a widescreen TV and didn't pay for it. And, a pack of gum or some other little item that fell in, was in the cart or something underneath the cart, you know, and just take it back in there. And not only does it feel good to do the right thing, take it back in there, it kind of sets the example too, especially with your kids. You show them you need to do the right thing, even when nobody's looking. You know, if you accidentally take something, go back in there, own up to it. They're not going to do anything to you, especially if you're going to go back in there and pay for it. You know, but exactly. And then, like, I'm giving change here at the post office. I get a lot of elderly people coming in here to the post office, and some of them want money orders, or they're buying stamps and doing this other stuff. And not this particular office, but another office I was at before, I had one lady who couldn't read and write. Just couldn't. She just couldn't. She was older. She lived in this town her whole life. Never could learn to read and write. And when she knew she had to get these money orders to pay her bills. And somebody would tell her, you need this one for this. She knew her numbers enough, kind of, to know how to pay her bills. But she didn't know how to count money. And she would just hold her money like she wanted me to count it. Or she would accidentally give me an extra $20 bill. I'm like, no, you gave me too much. Take this back. You earn a lot of trust that way, especially in a small town. And they really respected me and trusted me when it came to, they're paying their bills and doing money orders, things like that. I would help them fill it out. It wasn't a busy office. I had time. And you didn't take much more from me to do that. And I've done that here a few times, You give change, or they give you cash. They give you a dollar bill too much, or they give you a $5 too much, just something like that. And you're like, well, here you go. You give me and I joke around, I was like, oh, you're trying to give me a tip, huh? Like, I can't take tips. And they laugh about it a little bit, kind of make it a joke, and then give them the extra money they gave me. They gave me too much, but at the same time, this is where the question of karma comes in, because at that same office that I would help people with their money orders and bills and try to go the extra mile, one day I closed out my cash drawer and I was $100, exactly $100 shy of my deposit. And I just couldn't find it. I kept counting and counting and counting. Hey, Lena. And I just couldn't, it wouldn't add up right. And it's not like I had a lot of cash to deposit anyway. So I just couldn't get it right. And I had to go next door to the ATM, take out $100 out of my own bank account to make my deposit even. They were going to either take it out of my paycheck, or they were going to take it out, or I was going to pay it in myself. And I didn't want to deal with the paperwork and the hassle of trying to explain this and that and the other. And so evidently I had $100 bills stuck together or something. Or I didn't count them properly when they were given to me. I don't know how it happened, but it was exactly $100. And I may have counted too fast. Somebody may have accidentally gave me 7 $100 bills instead of 8 or something like that. And that happens sometimes, I guess. So now I'm not perfect by any means. There's plenty of times that I've messed up or, but you want to think that karma's real, and you want to think that what goes around comes around, but I don't know that to be 100% accurate. Tina's here. She was here early. Damn, 7:30. But anywho, yeah, that's one of my little stories. Trying to, try to do the right thing. I was so mad at myself too that I lost that $100. I mean, $100 is a lot, especially when you were living paycheck to paycheck. I was married at the time. I never told her about it. I was the one who handled all the bills and finances anyway, so I just kept it to myself. Um, I mean, I've told people like on this before, and I've told the story a few times before, but not much. Do you have a pet? I have a black lab. Her name is Sweetie. She was in my live stream yesterday. She's at the house. I'm at the post office right now. I'm outside. I can't film indoors, so I sit outside before I clock in and do my little morning stream Monday through Friday in the mornings. Yeah, I got a black lab. Her name's Sweetie. She's really cool. Older dog, super chill. Got a couple of cats that run around and drive me insane. And so yeah, we got pets. You have a pet snake? My ex had a pet snake for a little while, and she would have to go to this pet store and get live mice to drop in the aquarium where she had the snake. It'd feed it mice. That was wild to watch. She would pick it up. I'm not crazy about snakes, and I knew the snake wasn't going to bite. It was a little python, small python type thing. And I held it once. I was like, it was just creepy. I didn't care for it. I didn't care for it at all. But she would like walk around with it on her shoulder and stuff like that. And it's like, nah, not doing that. And then you see the people on the internet with those 10-foot pythons wrapped around them. And they're walking around with a pet snake that's 10 foot long. Could like pop your head off if they wrapped it around your neck. There's my Conor McGregor for the day. Thank you, thank you, Ross. I get at least one, if not 20, Conor McGregor references every live stream. So I need to carry a picture of him and do like a side-by-side comparison. Yeah, it's all fun and games. So the snake church choking you out. Nah, I'm not crazy about snakes. I'm not terrified of them. I just don't care for them much. You find the little garter snakes, and skinny version of Richard Simmons. I thought Richard Simmons was already skinny. I weigh 200 pounds. There's no way I'm the skinny version of him. Catch these little garter snakes that would fall into the swimming pool. You want to save them, put them in the garden. And they're little 1-foot snakes the size of a straw. Pick those up, no problem, whatever. But I'm not, if I don't know what it is, especially like not a rattlesnake, but like a copperhead or water moccasin or something like that. If I don't know for certain what it is, I'm definitely not touching it. I just let that snake go where it wants to go, do what it wants to do. Helped a black snake across the road last year in the neighborhood. The thing was like 4 feet long. And he was just curled up on the pavement, just sitting there. And I was in my truck, so I straddled him. I didn't run him over. Stopped my truck, and I had a piece of rebar in the back. And kind of put the rebar underneath him and kind of lifted him up and moved him over off the road into these bushes. I don't know why. It wasn't cold out. And he didn't look like he'd been ran over or anything like that. But as soon as I put him in the bushes, he started going. I think he was just basking in the sun like they do sometimes on the pavement. But I didn't want him to get ran over, so I moved him out of the way. I do that with turtles and things like that. Squirrels on the road, they're on their own. Indecisive animals live short lives. So, not that you could stop and help a squirrel anyway. It's going to run away from you. But, yeah, little animals that are trying to cross the road and can't really do it that well, I'll stop and help them a little bit. Especially turtles. I saw one guy, we were driving down the road and he actually swerved and intentionally ran the turtle over with his truck. I was pissed. I was like, why the hell would you do that? I mean, you hate turtles that much that you're going to swerve and try to hit it as it's crossing the road? I don't know. I mean, at the same time, I hate deer, but I'm not running them over. They're pretty big. I don't care for deer at all. like I said, I'm not hunting them down or running them over with my car or truck. So, oh man, I did a little video of my old truck. It's on my site, my YouTube page. An old '77 Ford. I was driving around this weekend a little bit. I drive, like I said, I drive it on the weekends just to keep the keep it mobile. You know, can't let it sit too long without starting it up and taking it somewhere. Istanbul's here. Good morning or good evening for you. How are we today, Istanbul? One of my moderators. Looking at some different things for like perks for memberships and stuff. Once I reach that plateau on the channel, maybe I may need to bounce some ideas off you, Istanbul. Since she emails me back and forth at my email CoffeeWithMalcolm@gmail.com, and tries to give me some insight and input on the channel and the live streams and things like that. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I don't know. It was a good sized turtle. It was so obvious that he swerved to actually hit it, because I think it was like on the yellow line almost, and he just went over and hit it, nailed it, splattered it all over the place. Now I've hit animals and things with my car driving down the road, but when you're going 55, 60 down a country road and a squirrel jumps out, I mean, I'm not going to be swerving and crashing my car for a squirrel, you know. But I've hit a couple of cats over the past 30 years. I've never hit a dog. I've never hit a deer. I come close to hitting some deer one time. Driving through, I was going somewhere at like 4 in the morning, super early in the morning. I'm driving down this country road in my little truck, and there's like 5 deer just standing in the road, perfectly still. So I had to slam on my brakes and stop, and I'm just staring at them. And I like flash my lights at them, honking the horn, and they wouldn't move. They're looking around like, what? We were here first, you know? I had no care in the world that I was sitting right there staring at them. I was like 2 feet away from them. It wasn't until I got out of the truck and like yelled at them like a crazy person. Then they finally left, and they didn't even run. They just kind of casually walked off the road. It's like, all right, if he's going to make a fuss about it. And I just kind of walked off a little bit, and that was it. It's so strange. So strange. Southern Conor McGregor? Maybe so. Yeah. Yeah, Southern American, not Irish. He's Irish, isn't he? Isn't Conor McGregor Irish? From Ireland. I can't do an Ireland accent, so I will not attempt to do so. But yeah, not a Conor McGregor. No tattoos, no muscles, no millions of dollars. So you guys wouldn't be calling me Conor McGregor if I didn't have this beard. It wasn't until I started doing live streams with my beard that people started calling me Conor McGregor. Well, yeah, exactly, deer. That's like, I saw this one deer on the side of the road in the ditch, and he was just, you know, eating grass in the ditch. And we're coming up on it. I could see it way ahead. It was early morning. It was still dark, and the car in front of me, we were both just cruising along, and I was like, well, I hope. Yeah, I thought to myself, I see the deer. Surely the car in front of me sees it. And then the deer just kind of took 2 steps right at the last second in front of this car, and that driver in front of me, his head was down, and he just bam hit that deer right in the head, and that deer just flew spinning in the air off into the ditch. And it wasn't like I don't know, it was a modern car. It wasn't like, you know, plastic and stuff. It wasn't like an old 57 Buick or something like that hitting it. It was just a regular old car, and he kept driving. He didn't pull over to check his, you know, headlights to see if anything was busted, radiator, bumper, fender, nothing like that. He just kept rolling, and that deer was just spun off into the ditch. I don't know. So when they get near traffic, maybe the exhaust that confuses them or something. But if you're, like you said, Justice, when you get out there in the woods and an acorn falls out of a tree, they take off running like a bat out of hell. I don't know, there's some phenomenon with deer and car headlights that they just don't make the connection until it's too late, and they make a physical connection. You see them on the interstates and stuff too. Like, man, they're just slaughtered. It's horrible looking when they do get hit by like a semi on the interstate and their whole body's just torn to shreds all over the place. It's horrible looking. Horrible looking. Now out here in Athens, Georgia, years ago, maybe 10 years ago, exactly. Take a picture now, screenshot my face, compare it to Conor McGregor when he turned 62. They built this Caterpillar manufacturing plant. And when they built it, they cut down lots and lots of timber, lots of forest down to make this manufacturing plant. And in the process of doing that, the animals had to relocate, find a place to go, right? Well, it's not an interstate. It's a 4-lane highway that circles around Athens. It's called the Loop. And these deer were getting hit over and over again. And because there were so many deer being pushed out of where the woods used to be, they were getting hit on the loop over and over again. There's deer all over the place, dead deer. And these college students started they got their car full of balloons and went down the loop, and every time they saw a dead deer on the side of the road, they would tie a get well soon balloon to the foot of the dead deer, and they had like started posting it on Facebook, prayers for deers or something like that. And it was kind of hysterical and gross at the same time. These college students purposely driving around with a helium tank and some get well balloons, waiting to see a dead deer on the side of the road and post a picture of it with a balloon that said "Get well soon." It's totally messed up. The thought and planning that had to go into that, and it was on Facebook. I'm surprised it didn't get banned for, mutilated deer being on the internet or something like that. Probably would today, more sensitive as people are when it comes to seeing stuff on the internet. But yeah, dead deer, get well soon. I used to joke around with my kids when they were real young. If there was an animal like on the side of the road, well, he's just taking a nap. See that deer over there? He's sleeping. He's just sleeping. He's really tired. And then we'd come back through, going back home, and like, Daddy, he's still sleeping. Yeah, I know, he's real tired. He's just a tired deer sleeping on the side of the road. When they're little like that, you can have fun with them and tell them stuff like that. Just a sleepy deer, a sleepy squirrel, all the dead animals on the side of the road. They're just taking naps. Just taking naps. What kind of bird is that? I think it's a mockingbird. I didn't do my bird app this morning to listen to all the different ones that are around here. Let's see, we've got 16 votes. 75% think karma is real. 12 said no, and 12 said who's asking. I should have said who cares instead of who's asking. Anyway, that's what I do normally with my my little polls on my live stream. Just silly little simple questions. Here comes the mail truck. I wonder if it's going to be Venus or is it going to be green? Which driver do we have today? Yeah. Not, I don't know if he came today or not. I may have to go. They come pick up the mail early in the morning and drop off stuff. And miscommunication amongst drivers. They don't know if if so-and-so picked up the stuff. You said yes, karma is real. I like to think karma is real. The whole what goes around comes around type thing. But I've seen a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense, and people get away with stuff their whole lives. Nothing ever happens to them. It's just like, how do certain people get away with doing the things they do and never have to own up to it? But to each their own, right? I guess. I'm not here to really judge anybody. Elon Musk, in his Starlink and SpaceX, they launched over 130 rockets last year. Just in 2024, 130 something rockets. And he's projected to have a lot more this year. So yeah, dude's launching all kinds of little Starlink satellites for his internet connections all over the place. And just keeps launching. And he's like the #1 contractor for launching satellites, going to the International Space Station, and all that other stuff. Worth $400 billion. It's probably going to be worth $1 trillion before the year's up. Next year's up. He paid for the president to get in office, and now he's going to reap the benefits of it. I think he spent like $120 million on Trump's campaign, and the day after he got elected, his wealth doubled. So it more than he got all his money back and then some. Yeah, that kind of irks me a little bit. People sell their votes like that. He was giving out $1 million checks. It's because karma's bitch. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm just kind of baffled by it all. I'm too simple-minded, I guess, to comprehend these type of things. I love this mug. A little Stanley camping mug. Keeps my coffee nice and hot. It's not one of the Stanleys that everybody's freaking out about with the straw on the handle. They got recalled. This is just the regular one they've been putting out for who knows how long. I had to order it because it was getting cold out here with my coffee. Are you guys enjoying any coffee this morning? Do you have a coffee preference wherever you are? Or a tea preference? Are you a hot tea person? I don't put anything in my coffee, just drink it black. K-cups, I kind of cheat. Is it considered cheating if I use the Keurig K-cups to make coffee? Or should I be grinding my own beans and using a French press? Tow truck guy hasn't come by yet. Normally around 7:45, there's a tow truck place right beside the post office here. And he drives by around 7:45 every time. And he's a little late today. When you live in a small town, you can get used to people's patterns and when they come and go. So yeah, he should have been here. Oh well, I guess I need to wrap this up. Probably go inside here in a minute. Yep, it's time to call it a day. Go in and work at the post office and sell stamps. Mail your grandma a letter. She'll love it. You had 2 energy drinks and a pot of coffee, Justice? Jeez, man. I thought I had problems. You guys have a great day. Like, subscribe, share some videos. I'll be here tomorrow morning, same time, same channel. And we'll have coffee and talk about whatever is in the news or whatever you guys want to talk about. Like I said, I owe this channel's success to all my viewers, and I thank you again for your support. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.